Hello, I'm Penny Thornton and welcome to my astrology channel. On this video, I'm looking at Taurus, the month ahead, February 2021. Now, this is one of the more important months of the year for you, and I have to say, after January, it might be something of a welcome relief. January was very difficult for every zodiac sign. The alignments were really very hard. And of course, as we know, out there in the world, there were some very, very difficult developments. So that tends to go in sync with, these kind of shapings and where planets angle one and another. But things are different in February. And I think you'll feel a difference. It has a different tone, it has a different emphasis on it. And although Mercury will be retrograde until the 21st, so we might say that perhaps for the first 3 weeks of February, there is a sense of really getting into your stride again. I think even then, in that early part of February, because there are so many other really very good influences that you might already feel that you're into a new kind of phase. Now, let me turn to the chart here so you can see what I'm talking about. And as you know, that's wonderful for me because I can see what I'm talking about too, which is very important. Now, you'll see that there's a whole lot of planets clustered up here at the top of your chart and two little isolated ones here. Oh, actually three. There's a moon over here, but we'll come to that at the very end. And this is the reason why this is such an important month, because Uranus is in your sign. We've got Mars in your sign as well. And about the 17th of the month, the moon is going to conjoin Uranus and it's going to square all these planets here. So the 17th is a really, really important date in the month of February. And let me start at the beginning. Let me say first off the bat, we do have Mercury retrograde until the 21st. And although I know a lot of people do get very kind of, in a state about a retrograde Mercury because they think they can't sign anything, you can't commit yourself to anything because it will all go wrong or it won't happen. But of course, that isn't true. Sometimes when you do sign a document with a retrograde Mercury, things do go wrong with it and it may take a little while to resolve. But as you'll see as we go through this month, if you've got so many other good things going for you, you have to take a retrograde Mercury with you and assume that it's going to have some kind of effect on whatever it is you're doing, the agreement, the deal, the job, the relationship, whatever it may be. But that might actually prove to be something very useful. One of the most useful functions of a retrograde Mercury is it allows you to go back. And how nice it is sometimes to go back in time, whether you revisit a place you used to live or a place that you were very happy in, whether you connect with people you haven't seen for a long time, or you go back to something you've done before and see it for the first time, so to speak. Then a Mercury retrograde can be a very, very enjoyable experience and a very valuable experience. So don't, put everything that's negative about a retrograde Mercury into your thinking. Think also of the benefits, and the benefits there certainly are. Now, the other thing, of course, that's happening is that, as you can see, we've got a lot of planets up here, and this is the area for you of life direction. It's your goals that you have in life. They don't have to be career goals. They can be a bucket list. They can be things that you want to achieve in the coming year. They are plans that you lay down because you want to accomplish them. And of course, when we're looking at natal astrology, I always say the midheaven and the 10th house is who you want to be, who you are trying to become. So whenever we get a lot of transits to this area of the horoscope, we get an opportunity to get a little more towards that person we want to be or that place we want to be at. We get to focus on our goals, and also perhaps if we do have a career, then a lot of things do tend to happen in February related to your career. Now, Jupiter and Saturn went in here in December, and so they're going to be long-term residents, Jupiter for a year and then Saturn for 2+ years. So there's going to be a lot of, there's going to be a big dynamic towards your career on the one hand and your ambitions, personal ambitions on the other. And they work in different ways. Jupiter bringing opportunity and good fortune and success, and Saturn involving a lot of hard work and sometimes some setbacks. But the process of the two of them together will yield some very good results, I'm pretty sure, for almost all Taurians. Now, we really get a flavor of what Aquarius means. Remember, I talked about coming into the age of Aquarius, Jupiter and Saturn coming first, Pluto following. And now, of course, we have the Sun, Mercury, and Venus, as well as a new moon in this area of the horoscope. So there's a real focus on things to do with where you're going in life. And I think that's a really good phrase to use, because where are you going in life? Does that mean I want to get to the top of the tree in my job? Does it mean I want to do this and that and the other? And this is what the components of my life should be. It can be all those things. And the fact that we've got this group of planets in there for February says this is a very go-ahead month. And that's why I'm saying that February is one of the more important months of 2021 for you. Even with a retrograde Mercury, you can go far in February. Let's also look at the fact that at the start of the year and all those things that proved very difficult, especially with the coronavirus, there were so many serious setbacks and difficulties. And it's not as though everything is suddenly going to snap back and be perfectly all right in February. No, it's not. But I think what we'll find in February as a Taurus is that you can start to move forward. You sort of know where you are a lot more, and you can begin to take baby steps towards something new. And while I'm talking about that, the reason we're talking about the new really is Uranus here. Uranus at this angle to Saturn in the 10th house, Uranus in your sign. So this is a main characteristic of the whole of 2021. And that's for all of us. But of course, it's a lot more personal for you because you've got Uranus in Taurus. So what we've got here is the idea of what used to be the status quo. And that can be in so many areas of life. It isn't just generally, there's just this one thing. It's, different things. The way things used to be are no longer the way they are. And we can certainly lay that at the feet of the coronavirus, because everything has changed for most of us. Not everything, but certain things have changed. So we get this really imprinted in the horoscope for you in February. So this is what I mean by being given an opportunity to take a baby step forward. In some cases, it may be more than a baby step. It may be a great big shove, and that something opens up for you, especially in the area of career. But it could also be to do with your personal aims and ambitions, and it just comes about and it has a great impact. Now, for others of you, it's the reverse, although the end game is the same. It will be a mighty step forward, and things will change in a very positive way for you in the future. But right now, things have to change, and probably not in a very welcome way. And I really want to take us right through to the 17th here, because on the 17th, Saturn and Uranus will be aligned exactly for the first time. And guess what? The moon will be in Taurus going over all this. So put the 17th in your diary. Now, in your diary, I'm suggesting that you just look at the events that happen. Be observant. Day before, 17th, day after, around that time. See what events that you can see in life and in your life that are bringing about a new status quo, so that you can see this idea of things leaving and not happening anymore, but the road open for something new. Now, Uranus really is a very individual planetary theme. It's in your sign, so the effect it's having is to align you with your true identity, really. And of course, some of us don't know what that is. And so it is a bit of a shock to us when we find out, oh, this is what I'm meant to be. Oh, this is where I am meant to go. It could be a shock. But a lot of us also suppress those things because we want to be conventional. We want to be accepted by society. We want to, have a safe job. We want to have a secure marriage, whatever it is, we make some adjustments in our life too. But if those adjustments that we've made, those responsibilities and directions we've gone in, what they've done is place our individuality at risk, we are no longer who we're meant to be, then there comes a reckoning. That has to change. And that's what we're going to be seeing with some of you Taurians as we go through February, especially around that time. A little bit before the 17th, we're looking at this little accumulation of things here. We're looking at the 11th. What we find on the 11th is a new moon in Aquarius, and also Venus, your ruling planet, aligned with Jupiter. This is a very fortunate kind of combination. I mean, if we could take everything else out of the astrology and just look at a Venus-Jupiter conjunction and a new moon, we would be looking at such great good news that you would be jumping up and down like a bean. It would be terrific. But unfortunately, we've got Saturn in there too. We've got Uranus. We've got, all these other things going on. So you've got to really look for the good in events. You've got to look for the opportunity in an obstacle. You've got to look for things that can potentially take you where you want to go and make your life what you want it to be. It may come wrapped up in an obstacle or something that you don't like, but it's there. Now, of course, that period of the February, the 11th, isn't very far from Valentine's Day. And it may be that Venus-Jupiter, Sun-Moon conjunction, the new moon, is all about a new beginning for a relationship. So maybe some Taurians will pop the question, or you'll get engaged, you'll get married. So that's already in the process of becoming. For others of you, it's going to be something that may happen around that time, so that you sense that a new relationship is going in that direction, even if it hasn't shown you what it's, doesn't show you right away. And if you meet someone around this time, my goodness, what an extraordinary relationship that is going to be. It's going to be full of love and opportunity, but also a lot of change and unpredictability. So remember that as well. Now, the other thing about a new moon is it begins a new cycle. So you will be beginning a new cycle for career and life direction on that 11th of February. So bear that in mind as well. It's always good to take these influences and say, I'm going to make a commitment to something on these influences. So a new moon and a Venus-Jupiter conjunction, the perfect time to make a commitment to do something, or to take the first steps in a process, because you're doing so at a time when you've got the full benefit of these good influences behind you. Now, if we go forward a little further, you'll see here, we've got the sun in Pisces, actually, and we've got the moon in Virgo. And so this is full moon time. And that is the 27th of February. And full moons always bring things to a head, but they also help you close and complete. So it can often be a very good time to put your signature on something. And if you think about it, this whole period around the 17th, which is so important, the moon in your sign, squaring up to the Saturn-Uranus connection here, things that may have happened around this time, and you are personally involved in these things, which may mean that you have, in some regard, sometimes we think we have no choice in things. Stuff happens and we're stuck with it. But you see, you always have a choice as to what you do in the wake of that. And this is what I'm thinking about, the combination of this happening around the 17th and then the full moon on the 27th, 10 days later. What you might be looking at is things happening around the 17th, maybe a little bit before, maybe a little tiny bit afterwards. But, there is the idea that you can put things in, draw a line in the sand. We can do things that say, okay, that's it. I've sorted it. I've done it. Now, in fact, this area of the horoscope here, this is the 11th house and the 5th house, has a lot to do with creativity. So it may be that you finished a project and, once it's finished, it's done, and we have to wait and see how other people, what they think of it. And also it can be the end of a gestation period. So This might be literal. Maybe a baby is about to be born, and that'll have a great impact on your life. Whatever relationship you have to that baby, whether you're an aunt, an uncle, a mother, a father, a grandparent, a godparent, whatever it is, that baby is going to have an important part to play in your life. It's going to be a very, very special relationship. But also this idea that even a love affair, it has its early stages, and then you reach a point and you say, okay, are we going forward into a more serious commitment, or what are we doing? And that too, you might find is appropriate around the 27th of the month. So I've taken you pretty well through the months. I'm going to come back and just be myself. And, you know, I've given you a pretty good rundown, and I think you can see it's got a lot to recommend it. And I'm sure this idea of understanding this push-pull effect of the Saturn-Uranus square and the necessity to put the past behind you and to go forward is a really, really important theme. And what I've said, I think, pretty well to everybody is this idea that, you know, when something ends and we can't use it anymore, let's look at it in terms of a device. Let's say we have something that we really love and we use it all the time, but it's gone, it's done, it's dusted. Sometimes we can't find a replacement straight away. And what we have to do is find other ways of doing what we need to do, what that device used to do for us. We have to extemporize, we have to find something else until we do find the new thing. And I think if you can use that analogy to whatever happens in your life, whether it's to do with a relationship or a job or finance or whatever it may be, comes to an end and you can't go there anymore, you're going to have to adapt, find something that you can work with, deal with, but eventually there will be a replacement and it'll be right and it'll be different. Okay. So thank you for watching. And of course, there are my other videos that I do twice a month, which focus on the new moon and the full moon, but they really also look at the planetary alignments very much in a collective sense, what's happening to the world as well. And that's another whole way of looking at our astrology. As I said, thank you for watching. Take care. Bye for now.